History is a story often written in the ink of conflict. From the earliest days, wars have redrawn maps, toppled empires, and forged new nations. The Roman Empire expanded through military might. The Napoleonic Wars reshaped Europe. These conflicts were turning points, influencing languages, laws, and generations to come. War's impact extends far beyond the battlefield, accelerating technological change, sometimes giving us medicine or the internet, but always at a terrible human cost. Wars destroy families, erase cultures, and leave deep scars of trauma and loss. Understanding this history isn't about glorifying battle, but recognizing its profound, often tragic role in shaping our world. The history of war teaches us about the fragility of peace and the dangers of unchecked ambition. Great wars serve as warnings. Once started, conflict can spiral far beyond anyone's intent. As we look at today's world, the same forces, nationalism, competition for resources, shifting alliances, still exist. Human nature hasn't changed, even if the world has. By studying how past conflicts began, we can better recognize warning signs today. History provides a map of dangerous paths. It's our responsibility to read it and choose a different route. The lessons of conflict are as urgent now as ever. A global war is far more than a regional conflict. It's a struggle involving the world's great powers, spanning continents and oceans. The 20th century gave us two devastating examples: World War I and World War II. World War I began in Europe but quickly pulled in empires and colonies worldwide. World War II was even more extensive, fought from North Africa to the Pacific. These wars were defined by major coalitions fighting for global dominance. What sets a global war apart is its total nature. Nations mobilize all resources, economies shift to war footing, and civilians are swept into the conflict. The line between home front and front line blurs. Everyone is affected. The goal isn't just to win a battle, but to force unconditional surrender, making these wars especially destructive. Understanding this helps us distinguish between today's regional conflicts and the potential for something far worse. A world war often starts with a single spark, like the assassination in Sarajevo, igniting a chain reaction among alliances and rivalries. Global war is a chain reaction. Knowing its signs helps us spot danger before it spreads. The stakes are immense and the consequences global. Recognizing the difference is crucial to preventing history from repeating itself. Today's world is filled with conflicts, from Eastern Europe to the South China Sea. At first glance, they seem isolated, but look closer and you'll see the threads connecting them. These are not just local fights. They're moves on a global chessboard, with major powers competing for influence. Proxy wars are common, powerful nations support opposing sides in regional conflicts, testing weapons and draining rivals' resources without direct confrontation. A weapon used in one war may be supplied by a distant country seeking advantage elsewhere. Economic and resource dependencies tie these conflicts together. A war in the Middle East can spike energy prices worldwide, or a grain shortage can trigger unrest continents away. In our globalized world, supply chains are fragile. Disruption in one region sends shockwaves everywhere. Every nation becomes a stakeholder in conflicts that once seemed distant. This tangled web means escalation is a constant risk. A miscalculation in one theater can trigger consequences in another. Imagine a naval standoff prompting a cyber attack or unrest in a different region. The speed of information and the number of connections mean a local crisis could spiral into a global one faster than ever. The world's conflicts are more connected and more dangerous than they appear. Understanding these links is key to preventing escalation. In today's world, no conflict is truly isolated. After the Cold War, there was hope for a more cooperative world, but that optimism has faded. Today, we're in a new era of intense competition between major powers like the US, China, and Russia. This rivalry is openly acknowledged and is reshaping international relations, fueling suspicion and mistrust. Unlike the Cold War's ideological divide, today's rivalries are about national interests, historical grievances, and competing visions for the world. Each power seeks to expand its influence and secure its future, turning every domain, trade, technology, diplomacy, into a battleground. A key symptom is the erosion of trust. Arms control treaties weaken, and every move is viewed with suspicion. Defensive exercises are seen as threats, investments as strategic traps. This cycle of mistrust makes cooperation on global challenges, like climate change or pandemics, much harder. When trust is low, leaders make worst-case assumptions, increasing the risk of miscalculation. The buffer that once prevented disagreements from turning into confrontations is dangerously thin. In this fragile environment, even small incidents can escalate quickly. The world's stability now depends on rebuilding trust and open communication. Without it, the risk of conflict grows. Military alliances are meant to provide security. An attack on one is an attack on all. This principle deters aggression. Alliances like NATO have helped maintain peace. But alliances can also act as tripwires, pulling nations into conflicts they might otherwise avoid. History shows this. World War I escalated from a regional dispute because of rigid alliances. Today, the world is covered by a complex web of defense pacts. While intended to be defensive, alliances can be seen as threatening by outsiders, prompting arms races and counter-alliances. This creates an alliance dilemma. One side's security measures make the other feel less secure. The very structures designed to keep peace can inadvertently set the stage for wider war. If conflict erupts, treaty commitments could force allies to choose between escalation and abandoning partners. It's a dangerous dynamic, a double-edged sword that demands careful handling. Alliances can preserve peace, but they can also magnify risks. The challenge is to manage them wisely in a volatile world. War is no longer just soldiers and tanks. Conflict now extends far beyond the battlefield. Today's warfare is multi-dimensional: land, sea, air, cyberspace, economy, and information. Cyber warfare is a new front. State-sponsored hackers can disrupt power grids, steal secrets, or paralyze systems, often without clear attribution. Economic warfare is another tool. Tariffs, sanctions, and control over supply chains can cripple rivals without firing a shot. These tactics blur the line between competition and confrontation, turning the global economy into a strategic battleground. Information warfare targets hearts and minds, spreading disinformation to sow division, erode trust, and influence politics. By manipulating what people see, nations can weaken adversaries from within. These new forms of conflict are subtle but powerful, undermining societies without open battle. The foundation of democracy and stability is at risk when truth itself becomes contested. Modern warfare is everywhere, visible and invisible, physical and digital. Understanding these new battlegrounds is essential to defending peace. The rules of war have changed, and so must our awareness. The risk of major conflict today is real, but it's less about deliberate conquest and more about unintended escalation. Modern weapons make global war unimaginably costly, so the greatest danger is miscalculation, a local crisis spiraling out of control. A misunderstanding, a technical glitch, or a mistake by a junior officer could trigger catastrophe. In a world of high tension and low trust, the margin for error is razor thin. The speed of modern warfare, especially in cyberspace, means leaders may have only minutes to decide. Recognizing this danger is the first step to prevention. It calls for caution, restraint, and clear communication. Diplomatic channels must be strengthened and trust rebuilt. Leaders need to focus on managing long-term risks, not just short-term gains. The same interconnectedness that creates risks also offers opportunities for cooperation. Technology can build understanding as well as fuel conflict. The path to peace is narrow and requires constant effort, but it's a path we must choose. Our shared future depends on vigilance, wisdom, and the courage to walk that path.